All right, if I could have your attention. This may sound like a very small thing, but it's a very big thing to me. After the morning session, I left the arena, and I kind of walked up and down. And I've been at a lot of clinics, a lot of conventions, a lot of different places for a lot of different sports. And the way we left this arena was in great shape. You know, it's how we teach our players is simply to leave the dugout, that you leave it better than when you first went in there. And it's about teamwork. And I'm proud to tell you that. So it's not that hard to pick up a piece of trash on the way out. It's not that hard to pick up a cup on the way out. It means someone else doesn't have to do it. That's a great compliment to you guys, and that's why you're all-stars. I know I appreciate it, and I know the people here will very much appreciate that effort. Great job. A couple announcements. At 5:30, as you all well know, taking care of a baseball field is a big part of coaching. Our field maintenance seminar, 5:30 to 7:30 in Grand Ballroom A and B. That's on the 5th floor of the Marriott for those of you that can and want to be in attendance. Second announcement, from 6 to 8 following that in Grand Ballroom F. On the 5th floor will be our hot stove pitching session for those of you that can be in attendance also. In August of 1994, Pat Murphy became the head baseball coach at Arizona State. Following the footsteps of the legendary head coaches Bobby Winkles and Jim Brock, Pat's 13-year tenure at the helm of Arizona State's program has been marked with great success. Continuing the great tradition at Arizona State, he has nodded himself and regarded as one of the top coaches in the nation today. 5 times in the past decade, ASU has ranked in the top 10 in the country. 3 times in that same decade, his team finished in the top 5 at the end of the season. A feat very important and very much to be taken pride in. In 13 seasons, the Sun Devil program been in the NCAA tournament 8 straight years, 10 of the last 11. He is the youngest head coach to reach the 500 plateau mark in wins, and only one of 3 head coaches ever to win 900 games by the young age of 50. In 20 years at the collegiate level, over 902 W's. Before arriving in Tempe for 7 seasons, he was a head coach at Notre Dame. He received his bachelor's and his master's from Florida Atlantic University. Coach Pat Murphy.
Wow. Great job. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. All right, I need these props. How's everybody today? Good, good. It's great to have you here. I've got a tremendous amount of friends here today, and it excites me a whole bunch to be in front of you. You may want to put away your pads and pens. I'm not sure that I have a lot of great drills for you or anything. I thought it was really important to talk about the coaching profession. To come here and I contemplate, how did I get my training in coaching? I'm 49 years old. I've been a head coach, I think, for 25 or 26 years in the NCAA. How did I get my training in coaching? Well, I was thinking about that. And I wanted to share with you today maybe a topic that hasn't been discussed. Talk about coaching. You wonder why I have this bat with me, DeMarini bat? No particular reason. I'm hoping DeMarini notices. But I won't spend a lot of time talking about hitting, although I would love to after, or pitching, I would love to after. How did I get started in coaching? How do we get started? Who gives us the formal training in coaching? So I thought back, and I said, well, I think it started when I was 5 years old. 5 years old, I remember telling my mother, I want to be a coach. And I got my first indoctrination into coaching. I was at the Seneca Falls Motor Inn. Anybody know where that is? You must live in the backwoods then. Seneca Falls Motor Inn, my dad used to bring us up there because every Saturday and Sunday, he'd go to the racetrack, Finger Lakes Racetrack. And he'd read his racing form from 11 at night till 10 in the morning and head to the track. And what did we do? We swam. And if you grew up in Syracuse, New York, like I did, it was a big thrill to be around a swimming pool, a built-in swimming pool. Not one of those above-the-ground jobs with the plastic. This was built in, and it was heated. At least I thought it was heated, but it's just a lot of little kids swam there, if you know what I mean. And I'd be up on the diving board, ready to bounce in. Oh, Lord. I was so scared. I was 5 years old. And the first coaching wisdom ever came to me when my pops, reading the racing form, smoking a cigar, said, jump in, you candy ass, jump in. I did it when I was 3. Profound. Well, one day, I jumped in. What do you got? What are you bringing in there, all that stuff?
Got some condos for you.
Why don't you just order them and have them shipped?
Cheap, high school budget.
You're already complaining about your budget. I'm going to get into that in a minute. So I finally one day jumped in. Oh my God, I don't know why I did it. I just jumped in. Swam over. My mother was there to save me. She couldn't swim. She had the big inner tube on. I get there. I went over to the side, and what did I do? Did it again. And what did I gain? Confidence. See, a little bit of my pop's coaching, I gained some confidence. Well, that was my indoctrination into coaching, and I knew for sure then I wanted to go into coaching. Oh, yeah, with that words of wisdom, jump in, you candy ass, that's perfect. That was the start. Well, I had a little problem. See, from about 5 to about 45, but let's just say from 5 to about 18, I had a little problem with authority. Might shock a lot of you, but I had a little problem with authority. I was the kid that was hitchhiking on the side that your mother said to your dad, don't pick him up. Or the kid that stopped the buses. Actually, I just did it last week too, going to the airport in San Diego, but stopped the buses before the bus stopped. I was a little bit of a problem kid. I was O for coaches. There was no coach in any sport I tried to play, basketball, baseball, football, whatever, I was O for them. They all couldn't stand me. I had a little problem with authority. The priest at Blessed Sacrament School, Father Fritzen, he kicked me off the basketball team in the 7th grade. I had been on it since the 5th. I had problems, but I still knew I wanted to coach. Then I met my high school coach as a senior, Pete Birmingham. You guys know him? The guy that does the soft hands thing. Have you seen that soft hands thing? Derek Jeter, soft hands, Batco, whatever. This guy, Pete Birmingham, was my high school coach. You go ask him down there. He's got a booth down there right next to Wilson or something. He took me and he did the greatest favor for me ever. He said, son, I know you've got problems. Here's the deal. You're going to bat 4th. You're going to pitch when you don't play first base, and you're going to lead us to a championship. And that's rough baseball up there in Syracuse. Played 11 games a year. You got to be on top of it. Sure enough, that was the kind of coaching I needed, I guess. I said, wow, I can do this. I can't wait till I get a young player. I'll just tell him what he's going to do, and it'll work out. And then it all started. 4 colleges later, 3 sports later, I was on a ride from Bowling Green, Ohio to Miami, Florida, be the next light heavyweight championship of the world. I was going to fight for the championship of the world. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I had an amateur training as a fighter, had fought some tournaments. Okay, when I was 9, 10, and 11, I was really good. My brothers would take me in the basement, and my oldest brother was Muhammad Ali. My second oldest brother was Floyd Patterson. My third oldest brother was Joe Frazier. And then I was Jerry Quarry. So I got great training. So I'm driving now after 4 schools, 3 sports, football, basketball, and baseball. I know that's hard to believe. I know a lot of you African-American guys out there looking at me saying, that fat white boy can't play basketball. Oh yeah, I could play a little bit. At least I thought I could. Sure enough, I'm driving down to Miami to be a light heavyweight champion of the world. I'm going to train with Angelo Dundee's brother at the 5th Street Gym in Miami. And I stopped off at Glades Road, true story, and wanted to get Tom's Ribs for lunch that I had heard about from a friend of mine. And I stopped into a place called Florida Atlantic University. I never, ever heard of the school. I pulled into the first building I could. It said athletics and intramurals. There was a swimming pool there. The first guy I ran into was a guy named Steve Traylor. And Steve Traylor, who you know just retired last year at Wofford, was the coach at Duke and at FAU. He said, hey, can I help you? I said, yeah, just checking this school out. What's it all about? He goes, I'm the baseball coach. I said, you are? He goes, yeah. I said, well, we're starting a program. We start practice in 2 days. Why don't you join? I said, well, I was just at Bowling Green. I was ineligible. I played football and baseball. What? Hey, join. My boxing plans were on hold, and I became a member of the Florida Atlantic. 2 days later, I'm in the outfield practicing. I'm thinking to myself, what happened here? Tom's Ribs, I never got them. I'm at FAU. That's how it happened. And he suggested, you need to go into coaching. I think that was a reflection of what type of player I was. But 2 years later, I signed with the San Francisco Giants. Wasn't exactly a bonus baby, but my dad had to try to get involved and negotiate the contract. So I lasted about 3 weeks and decided to take this job offer as a football coach at Maryville College. See, I had coached high school football while I was with FAU, and they gave me the job at Maryville College because it was $3,000 living in the dorms. I said, yeah, do it. So I left the Giants, and I'm the coach at Maryville College. This is my formal training in coaching. I'm just running into this stuff like somebody running into a wall. So I'm the assistant football coach at Maryville College. And in the middle of the year, the baseball coach, Mike Ledford, decides he wants to coach track. The guy comes to me and goes, you're the baseball coach. 22 years old, I'm the head coach at Maryville College. Oh boy. Am I the worst college coach in baseball or what? Some of you probably remember that. I had no clue. No one had ever said a word to me. I didn't have pedigree. I didn't grow up learning from some of the best. My close friend, Tim Corbin, got to work for Jack Leggett. You know, I think of these people, Pat McMahon and his training. I didn't have anybody. I didn't know anybody in the game. So what happens? I'm the worst coach in America. I wish they had that award. I would have won it then. See, I didn't understand it at all. I was just excited. I wanted very badly to win, but I didn't know anything about the players. So I went out and studied every single person. I'd come to these clinics, I'd listen to everyone, take notes on everyone. I'd corner people. I'd talk to them for hours. I got every piece of information. I had Tony Gwynn, Merv Redeman, Walt Rainiac, Charlie Lau, Ted Williams. Talked to them all one-on-one. Every pitching guy from Tom Seaver, Tom House in the minor leagues was my pitching coach. I can go on and on and on the number of people I would sit and talk to. I'd take note cards on every little thing. And I remember standing there, and I'd never remember this day. Never forget this day. Kid from Florida, Pat Moyer, was hitting in the cage at Maryville, and he was swinging, and I was giving him every bit of information I had. I couldn't give him any more information. Right from the genius's mouth, I was giving him, and I remember thinking to myself, boy, that kid's feeling good about me, isn't he? He's in there swinging, and he's thinking, man, my coach, he's only 22. Look at all this information. It's beautiful. I still can't hit a lick, but he's got great information. I had no idea how to put it off. No idea. And again, it was about winning games. Well, I went on from there, went back to Florida Atlantic, got a master's degree. I think I'm the only person that has a master's degree without completing my undergraduate degree, but that's still being checked on. But I do have a master's degree, and probably an undergraduate. I just never saw it. Then, probably shouldn't say that too loud. Trailer probably check on it and get me fired. But anyway, so then I go around. I'm in minor league baseball. I think I can play still, so I go out and play again. I'm managing a team up in the Northwest League. I'm about 25 now. And Steve Traylor again says to me, you know what? You need to interview for this job. It's a full-time job. Well, I've never had one of those. Full-time job at Claremont College in California. Tell me when it's halfway. I'm not even close to halfway, am I? Oh, good. Because I'll get to some stuff you can actually learn something from in a minute, I think. But so we go to Claremont College. I don't even know where the hell Claremont College is. No kidding. I have no idea. So I get on the plane in the All-Star break. Unfortunately, I didn't make the All-Star team as a manager or as a player. So I get on the plane and I go down and I land in Ontario, California. Well, I'm an East Coast guy. I don't know where Ontario. I don't know if I'm in Northern California or I'm in Southern California. I'm tired from a long road trip. I just get off the plane. I meet a guy named Bill Arce. You guys know Bill? Bill Arce, longtime coach at Claremont. He was as genuine and as nice a man as I've ever seen. And he says, Murph, if you want this job, you're going to have to understand. You're going to have to do things this way, this way, this way, this way, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't even want this job. What's he talking about? And if you stay the course, I can help you out overseas, and maybe you can coach the Dutch team or something like that in the future. I'm thinking, Dutch team? I still want to coach football at Notre Dame. I'm not sure I want to coach baseball. And God knows I'm not very good at it. Sure enough, I end up taking the job at Claremont College because I think Traylor just wanted to get rid of me because I was a horrible assistant. And sure enough, I get the job at Claremont College, football, baseball. 2 years there, I applied for the job at Berry College in Rome, Georgia. My former player, Rick Carver, who's now the head coach at Bethany, his father was the dean of students there. Is Rick here? Stand up, Rick. Where the hell are you? All right, sit down. Rick Carver's father was the dean of students. I used to have Rick Carver I used to live in the dorms, didn't I, Rick, at Maryville? I used to box with him in the dorms, right? Beat the hell out of you once a week. But because he'd take the punishment, I kept him on the team. So trade-offs in coaching. Sure enough, I figure out I got to get an interview, right? I didn't even get an interview for Berry College. Then I applied for the basketball job at Lamar Community College in Colorado. Couldn't get an interview. And then a kid walked in my office whose sister was a volleyball player at Claremont and said, you know, the Notre Dame job's open. The guy just left. He's going to go to Wake Forest. Would you be interested? I know you love Notre Dame. Would you be interested? Irish Catholic kid from Syracuse, New York. There was only one reason to miss Mass growing up. That was Notre Dame football. My dad would go up on the mountain there. We'd listen to it on the radio. Lindsey Nelson. Or no, actually it was Don Crickey. Lindsey Nelson was the replays. Don Crickey listened to it. He'd have a little brown bag and be drinking grape juice, I think. I wasn't sure. We'd listen to Notre Dame football. Only reason to miss Mass. So me, want to go to Notre Dame? Of course. But how am I going to get the job? What have I done? I was at Claremont College, one of the best academic institutions you can. That tricked them a little bit. I got rejected from school there 4 times, Lou. Are you coming in late on this thing, Lou? Huh? G too much? What'd you have, Lou? What'd you have?
Ravioli.
Ravioli? All right. Try showing up on time, Lou, okay? If you want me to read the paper, collegiate baseball, showing up late. So what was I talking about? Just checking if you were listening. All right. So Notre Dame, is this halfway? Does this mean I'm halfway already? Oh, no. Get rid of that. So sure enough, I get up the next morning at 5 a.m. I call a guy named Gene Corrigan. I said, look, I want the job at Notre Dame. I want the job. I'd rather the Notre Dame job than the Yankee job. I'd rather the Notre Dame job than coaching Green Bay Packers in football. Notre Dame is my life. I know a lot about it. I'm in a great academic school. I've done international ball in the Olympics. I've managed minor league ball. I'm your guy. I'm at Claremont College, one of the finest academic institutions in the nation. Gene just laughed. Oh, is that right, son? Well, this is a part-time job. Pays $7,000. I got a lot of great candidates. So I figured, well, what the heck? I sent my stuff in. I made plane reservations to go up there on my own because I wanted that job so bad. That was me. And luckily for me, They didn't give a damn who they hired. It was a part-time job. They didn't want anybody very good. They were thinking about dropping the program. Sure enough, what happens? Somehow, because a guy named Roger Valdiserri really liked me, because I could recite every Notre Dame football number from 1969 to 1988. I could recite everyone's number, including a guy named Dan Rudiger. This was before they made the movie. And that's a true story. And he just thought this was so cute. $7,000, let him come run the baseball program. And that's how lucky I was. That's how much I owe to this game. I became the head coach at Notre Dame. Does anybody have a Notre Dame football trivia question for me right now? Any number of any player from 69 to 88. Right now, a baseball glove right here. I'll give you the Wilson baseball glove. If you can name that. And a ball. Anybody got a question? 69 to 88, any Notre Dame football player, any single football player. The number. If I can't get it right, you win the glove. What is it? Jim Sexton was number 18. 16? He was a punter. How the hell do you know? Oh, now there was two 16s. 16 or 18? Jesus Christ, here's the ball too. Thanks for ruining the whole darn thing for me. I knew it was 16 or 18. He was a punter, was he not? And his father was Bill Sexton, the director of public relations. He did everything for the school. And not a graduate of Notre Dame, a graduate of Ohio State, and few people knew that. So stick that and give me the damn glove back. Can you believe how I feel? I'm the head coach at Notre Dame. I'm 27 years old. I don't know jack diddly about coaching or affecting young people's lives, but I'm there. They give me a little office in the back next to the Rolf's Aquatic Center. It smelled like chlorine in there the whole time. I had no windows in my office. Unbelievable. I'm the head coach at Notre Dame. First day on the job, I pick up my mail. It's this high. I am so excited. I was in Holland all summer, dreaming about Notre Dame. Larry Gallo was the classiest man I've ever been involved with. Lesson number one for me in coaching. Larry Gallo was leaving that job. He left that job impeccably. He told me every single thing. He spent hours with me to try to make my transition, knowing that I was clueless. He was unbelievable. To this day, I'll always be indebted to Larry Gallo. Unbelievable. Instead of leaving the job and saying, screw that, he stayed there and worked with me, talked to me on the phone in the middle of the night, did anything I needed. To that day, I learned a lesson about character, and I didn't know much about that I'll never forget. Larry Gallo was as special as ever, and I'll never forgive him, or never forget that, or forgive him. But how excited am I? I'm the head coach at Notre Dame. First day on the job. I'm walking down, I put my mail down. I don't even have keys to my office. I don't even think they have locks on it. And I go in and I'm in the men's room. You know, doing what we do. Lou Holtz doing the same thing I'm doing. Can you imagine how I'm feeling? He looked at me and said, hey, how you doing? I said, hey, coach, how's your team? He goes, oh, man, I love this flanker we got by the name of Tim Brown. We're going to give him the ball as much as we can. You know, we're not going to run a straight option, but we're going to get the ball in his hands as much as possible. You know, I'm struggling with our secondary. They just don't want to tackle. I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, I've arrived. Meanwhile, I'm done doing what I got to do. I'm just standing there for effect. Oh, my God. And then it hit. He turned back to me and said, so, son, what courses are you taking this semester? I thought he knew me. I thought we were going to talk coaching every day. Well, that's it for all the tales. But let me tell you this. I am so fortunate that I got that opportunity, that I got all those opportunities, that those people were in my life. Although I learned nothing about coaching, and I had to learn on the job, that was the sad part. That's not even close. 10 minutes. I mean, it was unbelievable. I learned so much from being there, but unfortunately, I had no idea how to influence kids, and I feel so sorry. Some of my best friends in the world were kids that played for me during those 7 years, wonderful years. And yeah, we had a lot of success on the field. Yeah, we won a lot of games. Yeah, I got touted for a lot of jobs, because after all, I'm a great coach now. We won a lot of games. I was brutal, inappropriate to the kids. It was all about me. You see, I wanted to win games. I wanted it to be about me. I wanted to be successful. I wasn't a great player in any of the sports. You know, I wasn't a great fighter. I wanted to be something good. And all I cared about is winning. And it defined me. If we won a game, I felt good. If we lost, it was a death. It was a mini death. I tell you that with complete sincerity. It was a death. I was bad. I was wrong. What have I done? And it was maybe somebody out there that didn't do their job. And Craig Counsell tells a story. He was my first recruit. I was a genius. Recruiter. His dad played there. They told me to go up and see him. That Roger Valdesari guy who actually got me a job told me to go see him. I went up there. I watched him. I said, this kid can't hit. This kid, he was whiter than my shoes, skinny, bent over to hit. But his dad coached there and played there. Hell, I gave him $500 out of $30,000. Big scholarship commitment. My first recruit, now I'm telling everybody, he was my first recruit at Notre Dame. I knew right from the get-go what I was doing. Anyhow, I think about, here we're at Notre Dame, a great academic institution. They'd miss 5 balls in practice. I'd say, go home and get something to eat and take your ass back here, and we're going to practice again. We'd be there 6, 10 hours. There wasn't no 20-hour rule in those days. Was there, Jack? You told me there wasn't. I reached out to no one. I didn't know Jack Leggett. I didn't know these coaches. Ron Frazier agreed to bring his team to Notre Dame. He agreed. Ron Frazier, in 1988, he's going to bring his team to Notre Dame to play 2 games before the football game. We play him 2 games. We hit the first 3 guys, accidentally. We hit the first 3 guys. It was colder than all snot. Hit the first 3 guys. The 4th guy got hit. They were yelling, what are you doing over there? I mean, they're ticked off. They come on this goodwill trip, and we hit the first 3 guys. His bases loaded, no outs in the first inning. Eric Madsen from Montana's pitching. The 4th, and I said, hey, you think that's bad? Wait till the next guy. 4th guy, Eric, hit him in the head with a split finger. Thinking to myself, oh my God, it's my first game as college coach. I'm like, you're damn right we hit him. We'll hit another one too. Frazier's like, this kid is psycho. We won the game 11-2, and I strutted off the field like, you're damn right. So inappropriate, unbelievable. And then I got job offers from everywhere. It was beautiful, all over. I'm the man. Got a lot of wins, 45 wins a year. Regionals back in the days when they didn't even think about the northern teams. We don't even have scholarships. We got 2 scholarships. Ha. Not to mention we got one of the greatest institutions in the world, and we got a new facility downtown that we use. We told recruits that was ours. Meanwhile, we played on Jay Klein Field, played about 6 games there. Parents couldn't approach me. I don't talk to parents. So sure enough, there I am. I come to ASU in the Pac-10. They hate me from day one, with good reason. Gillespie, Marcus, Jerry Kindle, they taught me a lesson. They hated me. Oh, I won my share of games. But it still was about me. I think of those players and I think of those staffs and I think about, God, how awful was I? How terrible. And now I bring you what I think is important. One is what changed me was 7 years ago, this little pipsqueak down here named Kai Joseph came into my life. And I'm fortunate to say that I was granted sole custody of Kai and have been his parent for 7 years. And for me, that opened up a whole new thing in my life. I had no idea. All of a sudden, I realized every one of these kids I've coached was somebody's Kai Joseph. I mean, I've changed more diapers than most anybody in this room, I'll guarantee you. Yeah, I was a late potty trainer. But I want to tell you, that changed my perspective totally. And I started to say, I need to make amends and I need to reach out. I need to get to know some coaches. I need to ask questions. I need to figure out what the hell I'm doing. But you know what? That's second. My number one job is parenting. I hired a staff. I took every bit of my camp money for the last 13 years and gave it away. I took every bit of excess I have and gave it to my staff. I just wanted to raise this kid. That was number one, by far. The greatest thrills in the world. Nothing. Playing for the national championship in '98. I screwed that game up too. But it was about him. It now was about him, and he was somebody's Kai Joseph. So I tell you out there, remember, as crazy as this Generation X is, there's still a lot of great people that can be affected. Our responsibility, our position of influence is so remarkable. And now I'm challenged. McMahon said I had 900 wins in NCAA. Oh my God. That's just by being there. That's not by being a good coach. Just recently have I started to come upon some people that have helped me. There's a guy named Harvey Dorfman. You guys know Dorfman? He's about 70, lives in Brevard, North Carolina, one of the famous sports people around. Some people call him a psychologist. I figured, hey, I'm not embarrassed to say I went to counseling. Where the hell else can you go for 2 hours, talk about yourself, and someone's actually listening? I've lost you guys in 30 minutes. This guy helped me. This guy said, hey, Generation X, my butt. These are kids, and they deserve to have a coach that can lead them in the right direction. You don't have to be known as a hitting coach or a pitching coach. He said, you want to be known as a winning coach. You could sit and have all the conversations in the world about hitting. My hitting theory is pretty simple. We've led the nation, I think, a few times, whatever the hell that means, in hitting. Hit it on the big fat part. A lot. Pitching theory. Throw the ball where you want to. Right? Throw it where you want to. Take a little off, maybe here and there. That's it. You got to keep it simple. But these kids deserve you. They need to know who you are. They need to know you on the inside. Drop your anger. Poor Jim Brownlee. I know he's not listening to me because this guy hates me. Okay, he coached at Evansville. He was a fabulous coach, twice the coach I was. We'd go down there and we'd have some of the most unbelievable games, and we had more talent. He hated me. He came out in Baseball America. They wrote an article about me, Black Hat Pat. And Jim, are you here, Jim? Yell if you're here. Ah, Jim. But I mean, he said Pat Murphy will die with no friends in the game. And I thought to myself, at the time, oh, what a jerk. I used to just kick his butt all the time. But truthfully, he was right. But boy, he was a way better coach than I was. But I'd go down there, we'd have more talent. We'd have to win the games a lot, but man, he was trying to teach me a lesson. I wouldn't listen. But so many of you have now helped me, and I appreciate that. And I'm so lucky to be in the position I'm in. It's incredible. My word for the year is gratitude. It's the direct opposite of entitlement. See, I'm trying to do the same thing most of you are doing. I'm avoiding that 9 to 5, and I'm trying to jump in 2 feet and be passionate about what I do. Passionate about what I do. About getting in the morning and knowing that the little things in this kid's life, even though they're more high maintenance and they're not old school and they don't understand some things about the game, they need to be worked with one-on-one. I've given up every other part of the program. Just coach players. Hitting, pitching, whatever I need to coach them in. And I got a great staff. I've never been able to do that either. I've always wanted to hire people I could control. Now I've hired people that I don't have to control. It took me a long time, and I think of all those old assistants. Some of you here today are like, oh my God, I screwed up your life. Oh, we won a lot of games. Don't mistake winning for successful coaching, in my opinion. You guys have the answers. Lead people. Lead people. I got 1 minute, now I can go to my notes. Charlie Green helped me. Yeah, you did, man. I read everything about pitching I could read about you. And then I recruited your kid. Oh, can you read what this says right here, Paul? These are my notes.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's kind of filling the gaps. I've been at it 25 years, and I feel like myself, the last 7 have been brand new. The last 7 have been brand new. Every year different. Every year. I change my signs every year. I change systems every year. The way we do first and third defense. Come on, if you play catch. The one year, 2003, it was great. Here was first and third defense. Okay, fellas, look. Get the ball to Pedroia. That was it. First and third defense. We don't have to practice it. Just when something happens in first and third, just throw the ball to Pedroia wherever he is. He'll handle it from there. I swear to you, that was our defense. And I've changed my signs every year. These guys know that. Except for one. What is it? Steal. This is great. I'm standing there and I go, hey, hey! Now the pitcher's looking out of the corner of his eye like, is he serious? And the guy at first is thinking, hey, he's going. And my player's going, is he serious? Sometimes he goes, sometimes he doesn't. They can't figure it out. They think I have an off sign. It's beautiful. Try it. Let me tell you a little bit about pitfalls. I got 3 things left and I'll be done. And then, I'm going to give away the bat too, so a little auction will be. Pitfalls. Money. Pitfall. Oh, he's making more than me. I think you can say this because I heard this on TV. Bitching about your job. My AD. I've been through 7 ADs in 13 years. My AD doesn't like baseball. My AD doesn't understand. It's all about football. It's all about, you're wasting your time. For what? That's entitlement. Be grateful. Good things will happen. Another pitfall, looking for jobs all the time. Where's my next job? What's going to be next? Who can I meet? Who do I know? So-and-so knows him and I might get this. If I do this, then I'll do this. Crazy. Has anybody here heard about the law of attraction? Law of attraction. Raise your hands if you heard it. Law of attraction. You heard about it? Well, I don't know what the hell it means, but I thought I'd throw it in there at this appropriate time. What is it? Well, what's the law of attraction? I don't care who wrote it. Is that it? Oh, shit. It wasn't appropriate at all then. Sorry I mentioned it. Oh, but the law of attraction probably means something like, it's going to happen if it's supposed to happen. If your coconut is straight, have your coconut straight. Be thinking about helping that young man. Be thinking about this kid's acting like a donkey, but that doesn't make him bad. Think about a kid like me who had no direction, who couldn't stand authority. I froze when authority talked to me. All I wanted to do was fight him. There's different ways to coach him. That's what we can concentrate on. How do I get this kid? Most of you are stuck with a kid. You don't get to recruit him. Or you're like me and we don't know what the hell we're doing anyways in recruiting. We're just guessing, flipping a coin. But whoever you get stuck with, let's say, has got value and can do great things. They can believe. That game at Notre Dame against Miami, Dan Peltier, who later played in the big leagues from Clifton Park, New York, who was on one of 2 scholarships, $6,000, he came up to me and goes, Coach, you don't really believe we can win this game, do you? And I went, well, Dan, it's going to be tough. He said, Coach, we're going to win. You've prepared us. We know you're nuts. But we see in your belly that you want to win. And I did. As crazy as I was, my belly was right, which meant I want to win. And they went out and won. They can do tremendous things. Eric Madsen didn't have a scholarship. He wasn't recruited by anybody. But he believed he could win. See, it's great to study the X's and O's. It's fantastic. And it's crucial. But beware of skimming over them. You want to study the X and O's, then get in there and study them. And make it practical. Not just hear theories and argue about, do I have the bat come this way? Does the knee go first? Or is it triggered by the hip? Or is it the front hands that go down. Is it 37 degrees or is it 39 degrees? Yeah, I say that's for scientists. We'll figure that out when it becomes the norm. I want this young man to feel great in the batter's box. I don't care if he's hitting cross-gripped or split-gripped. If he feels great in the batter's box, he's going to hit with that ugly-ass swing he's had since high school that you probably couldn't change with 9 million drills. If he feels great, if he feels like you believe in him. See, those kids know you inside. They know if you're an egomaniac. They know if you really give a damn about them. They know if you care. Oh, you still can be good. There's a lot of war horses that are really good coaches and they win a certain number of games. But to affect that young man's life, to be the leader that you can be, to be the influence you can be, boy, it's about so much more. It's about first realizing who they are. There's my kid sitting down there. Unbelievable. He's got a Vanderbilt baseball shirt on. How am I doing? That's what it's about to me. The X's and O's, you better know them. Muhammad Ali, got 1 minute? Muhammad Ali, I got the chance, he lived in Benton Harbor for a long time. I was in South Bend. And at that time, in 88 to 90, nobody even talked about Muhammad. Muhammad was there in the airport. I'd go sit next to him. Muhammad was at a banquet with Joe Kernan at South Bend, something that I hate to go to. And I'm sitting there, and I'm not even listening to the guy, and they're giving out stuff. I'm talking to Muhammad. I said, champ, why did you talk so much? Why did you run your mouth? Because, I wasn't short on running my mouth to opposing team coaches, to the media. I didn't give a damn. I thought you're supposed to hate everybody. So why did you run your mouth? He leaned over. I was scared to death. I went, no, really, champ, why'd you do that? I was scared to death. See, the emotions get caught up in it. The emotions get caught up in it. And that's what you have to learn. The last thing that everyone in the world that knows me, some of you guys know me, have known me. They would always say as a youngster, wow, he was a great competitor. Oh boy, he was a tough kid, a competitor. Bull crap. I wasn't a competitor. I was an emotional wreck. If anything went wrong, I melted. And I did it as a coach too. And Gillespie and Marcus, they took advantage of that. I was an emotional wreck because it was all about me. Winning the games, being somebody. I'm the big leader. What an education. What an education. 25 years in the NCAA. I hear the bio and I think to myself, what a joke. 900 wins. You know what I wish when Pat was doing the bios that he would say, instead of what's happening now and what's happening, just take a guess. I predict where he'll be 20 years from now. Wouldn't that be great?
This is Pat Murphy. He used to coach at Arizona State. He spent the last 19 years in the penitentiary for assaulting an umpire or a parent of a kid who thinks his kid's the best.
But unbelievable to lose that anger, fear, and guilt, which Harvey helped me so much with. To compete, it's not to be emotional. It's to behave well. It's to be prepared. It's to be disciplined, doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, whether you like it or not. That's what it's about. Doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, whether you like it or not. Not just the players, us, as coaches. What you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, whether you like it or not. When I grew up, or when I started coaching, I did what I wanted to do, when I wanted to do it, whether you liked it or not. That's not discipline. Preparation. Discipline. No emotion. Good behavior. Not just goody-goody two-shoes. Obviously, you can tell I'm a little rough around the edges. But good behavior with your players. Understand who they are. If you get emotional, stop. You don't need to get that negative emotion in there. Last thing, swear to God. 2 minutes? 1? Lose the anger, fear, and guilt. Pressure. Who feels pressure in here? You guys won't do it. Who feels pressure? It doesn't exist. Somebody tell me what it is. What is pressure? What is it? Somebody will define it, I guess. It doesn't exist. Pressure, responsibility, that's different. Pressure doesn't exist. Get it out of your head. That's an ego term. That's not being grateful. That's not part of gratitude. That's entitlement. Pressure, opportunity, responsibility. Okay, I got to leave because they're really getting mad at me. You'll never be defined by your wins. It doesn't matter where you go to coach, it's who you're bringing. I want to raffle off this bat. Do I have time to do that? Raffle off the bat, Pat? Get out of there? Get done? You mad? We're in Philly. Philly is close to Jersey. I couldn't leave here without telling you about Springsteen as you go down Thunder Road in that jungle land of coaching. You need to rise up in this land of hopes and dreams, not get caught in the 10th Avenue freeze-out. Remember, poor men want to be rich, rich men want to be king, king wants to rule everything. You can never get more than half free. I really appreciate it. I'll be out here somewhere. Thank you so much for listening. I hope at some point I get a chance to shake your hand and look in the eye. I feel grateful and very fortunate to present to you today. Thank you very much.